guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be all about how to deal with feeling left out because you haven't gotten your first period yet. Basically like how to deal with feeling left out because you don't have periods yet. I'm just gonna be giving you guys some tips because I have actually gotten a lot of requests for this video on like just how to deal with feeling left out because I've had my period for almost 2 years now. I got my period in November 2020 and so now it's like 2022 and I still remember how much I wanted my first period, and I feel like no one talks about this like on YouTube or like on social media. Like everyone like gives advice on if you already have your period, but not so much advice like if you haven't gotten your period yet and like you really want it. And I feel like everyone kind of wants their period, and I totally understand because I still remember what it was like to really want it. I just totally understand like your feelings are valid. You're not like crazy for wanting your period. It is something that will make you feel more grown up and like mature, and like you can relate to other people your age, and it is actually like that once you get it. But the problem is that it's way more annoying than it is like to feel mature. Periods just really suck. I wish I could go back and like enjoy the days when I didn't have to worry about my period. I know this won't really help you like if you are like really feeling left out because you haven't gotten your period yet. Like if all your friends have gotten it, or like if you know a lot of people who have gotten it and like you haven't gotten it yet, or like just if you like really want your period. But I'm not judging you at all, and I completely understand your feelings. As I said, your feelings are completely valid because I went through this too, and I totally understand what it's like. So you're not crazy for feeling this way. A little disclaimer before I start with some of my tips. No one is the same. Everyone's body is different, and so if you are feeling left out like among your group of friends, like if you are someone who has not yet gotten your first period and like all your other friends have, everyone is different, everyone's body is different. So let's say like you're 13 and everyone else your age has gotten their period. It depends on your family. Like if your mom got hers late, then you could get yours late, or just like your environment or something like that. Like there's so many different reasons why your period could be like coming later than other people's, so don't worry about it. And I would also just like to say, like as I said, I know this probably won't help like if you really want your period, but you are so lucky if you haven't gotten your first period yet. Like the longer you go without getting your first period, the luckier you are that you don't have to deal with it yet. I mean, if you're around 15 or 16 years old and you still haven't gotten your first period, or even maybe 14, I would talk to your doctor, but it could just be like your own body, your own schedule, and your period's just gonna come late for your first time. Also, if you're watching this and you already have your period, but like you know other people who like don't have their period yet, or people who are like, you know, they are feeling left out because they don't have their first period yet, feel free to share this video with them. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to get into the tips I have for you to deal with feeling left out that you don't have your first period yet, or just like dealing with wanting your first period. So my first tip is to educate yourself on periods, and this might seem basic and like maybe you already know everything there is to know about periods, but while you don't have your period right now, it's so smart to like actually educate yourself on like what goes on, all the symptoms, like what you go through like on your period, like what people go through on their period. Because I used to like romanticize having a period. I literally used to think it was like you bled a little and like you could use like the bad symptoms as like an excuse for something, but no, it is so uncomfortable. It really sucks. And so I will actually link some articles down below that would be helpful to you to like go read if you haven't gotten your first period yet, just to learn like about the whole menstrual cycle, like the first day of your period to like the last day of your period, then like when you ovulate and then go through PMS, like just everything. You can also go binge my period playlist because I made a lot of videos on like PMS and also just like about periods in general and like how they work. I'll link some that I think you might like down below, but just really educating yourself on like what will be happening to your body is really important because information can always make you feel less. I mean, like if you educate yourself on something that you don't really know a lot about, you might find out that like it's actually not as good as it seems, and you might be educated already. You might know everything there is to know about having a period, but maybe like go like a little further, like maybe even more into like the scientific level of like what your body is doing to have the period, and you might not think it's like so cool anymore, you know what I mean? Also, when you learn about some of the symptoms, I mean, I don't know why you would want to like feel those symptoms, like just feeling them, like just that's it, like not being able to relate to other people, so that might really help you like enjoy not having a period yet. My next tip is to watch period vlogs. I actually have a whole period vlogs playlist on my channel because let's just say that if you want your period now and you're feeling left out, you might feel more lucky and less jealous after watching those period vlogs because it'll just show you how like not fun periods are. And this kind of relates to like my first tip, but the more you like see what something's actually like, I feel like this applies to like a lot of things in life, like the less you'll actually really want it, because like if you're glorifying like I'll feel like so mature and grown up and like be able to relate to all these people who like I'm feeling left out from, like yeah, you might have that, but you'll also have to deal with like, let me just put it this way, okay? If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a preteen or just like a young female or like, you know, tween, teen, whatever. So you get your period, the average age to get your first period is around 12 years old. And I've said this on my channel before, but periods start to get regular around the first couple years. So let's say like your periods are finally regular by the time you're like 15 years old, okay? And menopause is around 50 or 55, but everyone's different or whatever. But roughly that's 40 years of having a period. So pretty much you bleed every week of every month for 40 years. Why would you want that to come sooner than it already is? You know what I mean? Like, I'm totally validating your feelings about like wanting to have your period, but it is not all that. It's so much more that you're going to have to deal with, which all sucks. I'm just telling you right now that it's not crazy to like feel left out for having your period, and like it's not crazy to want your period. But when I got my first period, I was like, why did I want this? Periods are just like, you have to bleed and go through those like cramps and everything, and then before that week of bleeding, you have all the horrible PMS symptoms every single month for like 4 decades. So it's just like, why would you want to go through that? My third tip is to get ready for your first period. Something that can really help you, like if you're feeling left out from like not having your first period yet, or like you really want your first period, is getting ready for it, because it will make you feel like you're already more like growing up and like getting a part of the group. So you could ask the people who you're feeling left out from, like who already have their period, hey, I think I'm getting my first period soon, or like just you could say something like, I think I'm just getting my period soon. Like, what do you pack in your bag, or like what do you recommend for like cramps or whatever? And then you can buy that stuff before you get your first period, so you're like super prepared when you get your first period. I will link a couple other videos down below, and like one video right here that I really think might help you, like how to prepare for your first period. Obviously, like if you haven't gotten it yet, because then you'll be like really ahead of the game. Like you'll get your first period, you'll have like the recommended pads, and you'll have like, you know, like the heating pad already, and like the good brands of dark chocolate, and you'll be the lucky one because you'll have like already known what to do. Actually, that feeling left out could be really beneficial to you in a way, in the way that you'll get to know like what you actually have to do to like have a good first period and like have good experiences like with your period from the start. And then the people who you're feeling left out from will actually probably be a little jealous of you, not only because you don't have like your first period yet, but because like you were so much more prepared than them, because you could like get help from them, or just like get ready on your own, you know, like do your research, watch videos on like what you need to do, check out my channel's period playlist, because I feel like that could help you out. Just like get ready, and then you will feel less left out because like you're doing stuff like involved with periods. Like you can buy pads, you can buy dark chocolate and like have it ready, you can buy your heating pad and have it ready, you can like just come up with like plans of like what you're gonna do when you get your first period, or like periods in general and stuff like that. And then it can feel more like you're like part of the club or like group of like people having periods, even if you aren't yet. My next tip is to talk to someone about it. I mean, I hope that this video is so far helping you with like feeling like you're not alone, because like as I was saying at the beginning of this video, before I got my first period, I used to go to sleep at night and literally like pray in my head, please let me wake up with my first period tomorrow. Please, can I please get my first period tomorrow? I don't know why I did that, but like anyway, just talk to someone about it, because I bet there's more people out there like in your school or whatever than you think who don't have their first period yet and who are feeling left out because of that. So if you know any of your friends who have not yet gotten their first period, or even like your mom or like someone you live with, or like a close friend or like a relative that you feel comfortable talking to about this, see if they relate. You can go up to them and say, I'm feeling really left out because I don't have my first period yet. Everyone else seems to have already gotten theirs, and I just feel like I'm kind of like behind. I really want my first period. Did you ever feel this way? Or you could say something similar to like a friend going through the same thing. You could be like, I feel like everyone around us already has their first period and like we don't. Like, how do you feel about that? Because it's not fun for me. And like just really relate to someone, talk to someone, get your feelings out about it. Something that I do is journaling. I've been journaling for like over 2 years now. I started it when the pandemic started, but anyway, that's like besides the point. Just like using a journal or like writing down your feelings can really help like get them out. And like the more you get your feelings out, the less you'll have to like feel them yourself. So if you express like how you're feeling left out and how you really want your first period, if you don't keep that inside, then that will really help you to like actually feel less of that. You know what I mean? My next tip is to find things to distract yourself. Like don't constantly be like sitting at home thinking like, I need to get my first period, I want to get my first period. You know what I mean? I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously. I know that when you really want something, obviously like if you're watching this video, like if you're feeling really left out from like not having your period yet, then it can be like really consuming, like if it's something that you really want. But just try your best to find things to distract yourself. Even do things that might like be harder to do once you get your first period, like, you know, wearing white jeans. I mean, you're not gonna be able to do that without fear after you get your first period. Or like playing a sport that you love. I mean, exercising on your period is no fun. Or like just even going to sleep and like you don't have to deal with like a bulky pad and like blood flowing out of you. Like just enjoy those little moments, find those things to distract yourself that like you know are going to just be so annoying to deal with once you get your period. And just like, you know, find other hobbies to do so you're not constantly thinking about like wanting your period. I mean, whatever you love to do, just like do that. My second to last tip is don't seriously stress yourself out about it, because actually stress can hold off a period. So if you are seriously stressing about wanting your first period or like feeling left out because of it, that could actually be delaying your first period. And none of this is like really like that scientific what I'm saying, so I'm actually going to just look this up really quick. So yeah, if you're under a lot of stress, your body can stay in fight or flight mode, which can make you temporarily stop ovulating. This lack of ovulation in turn can delay your period. So if you are about to ovulate for your first period, then you won't, and then you won't get your first period. So obviously a little stress isn't gonna like stop your body from doing that, but like if you're constantly thinking about it, or just like if you have other stress in your life, try to remove that if possible. I mean, it's easier said than done, but like just don't seriously stress out about this, because that could actually be holding off your first period. And there's also like other things that can delay a period, like if you're exercising way too much, if you're exercising way too little, that could also hold off a period. If you're eating way too much or like way too little, same with that. So just find an even balance for everything in moderation. And my last tip for you guys is accept the way that you're feeling is normal. I heard this quote somewhere that like a lot of our stress is caused by our resistance to our stress. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, like it's not normal for me to be feeling this way, but it is so normal. So many more people than you would think feel left out because they haven't gotten their first period yet, or because they just want their first period. Like, I get so many comments about people who like really want it, and it's normal. I mean, it's so normal to want to feel like you're a part of something, to want to feel like you're growing up, and like this is just like a mark of you becoming older. So don't beat yourself up about feeling this way. Like, don't let people tell you like you're crazy for wanting your first period, or like even after educating yourself on all the bad symptoms, don't feel bad about yourself for still wanting it despite that, because it is something that a lot of people do want as just kind of like a symbol or like a mark of something. Maybe it's not like the actual thing of like having a period, because that doesn't really feel good, but just accept that the way you like want it, it's normal and everyone goes through this. But just don't let it obviously like consume your whole life, and also realize that you will 99% most likely regret wanting your period this badly, and like regret feeling left out from like having your period. I 1000% felt this way, and a lot of people in my comments have told me like they felt this way after they got their first period. Like, why did I want it so badly? The second I got my first period, I was like, oh, it's not really that big of a deal. Now I just have to deal with this annoyance for like a lot of my life. So just know that this won't last forever. You will get your first period. If you're concerned about like why you're not getting it yet, talk to your doctor, because I'm not a doctor, obviously I can't help with that, but most likely, I mean, everything's normal. You will get your first period eventually. You won't feel like this forever. Instead, you'll just feel annoyed that you felt this way for such a long time, because periods really just are not fun. They're not all that they're made out to be. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I really hope that this video was able to help you out if you are someone who is dealing with feeling left out because you don't have your first period yet, because you don't have periods yet, because like you really want your first period, you don't really know how to deal with that. I just wanted to give you guys a huge reminder that you're not alone in feeling this way, and tons of other people, even if you don't know them personally, have gone through this. So just validate your own feelings, and they're normal, and you don't have to worry about feeling this way. It will pass eventually. You will get your first period eventually, as I just said. And for now, just enjoy not having a period yet. And so yeah, before you leave, please like this video, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below, periods are no fun, because just remind yourself this, periods are no fun once you get them, and you're gonna regret feeling the way that you do right now. I mean, it's normal, but you are probably going to regret it, because periods are just really annoying and they're no fun. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because if you did not know already, I make so many period videos. I have a whole period playlist and a period vlogs playlist and a like reacting to your period horror stories playlist. Maybe go watch that to see how horrifying periods can be. And also feel free to like go check out my period playlist and like period vlogs playlist to educate yourself in the meantime while you haven't yet gotten your first period on like what having a period is like, so you can better prepare yourself to like be better prepared, so like you'll know what to expect when you do get your first period. So use the time you have right now when you're not having a period to your advantage to prepare for when you do get your first period. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I love you guys. Bye!